Reem Island used to be considered a secondary option in Abu Dhabi. Fast forward to 2026, prices are up, ADGM has moved in, families are choosing it, and off-plan launches are kept selling out. So the real question is buying an off-plan in Reem Island still worth it in 2026? Or did you already miss the opportunity? My name is Duke, I'm a real estate agent based in Abu Dhabi, proud member of National Association of Realtors, and on this channel, I'll break down the Reem Island growth the way it actually happens. If that's the kind of content you appreciate, take a second to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with anyone or someone who's thinking long-term. Let's break this down properly. No hype, just facts. Before we talk about prices or off-plan opportunities, we need to understand what Reem Island actually is and how it got here. Reem Island didn't start as a luxury destination. It started in the mid-2000s as one of the Abu Dhabi's first large-scale master plan island, designed to support the city's long-term population and economic growth. First developments were mainly high-rise residential towers, like the early buildings in Marina Square and Shams, Abu Dhabi. Back then, the target market was largely expatriates working in the city, and the ownership was mostly leasehold, not freehold. That changed everything. Over time, Abu Dhabi shifted its property strategy. Reem Island moved from leasehold to freehold ownership, opening the door to international buyers and long-term investors. That single decision reshaped the island. As ownership became more secure, the profile of buyers changed. Developers upgraded standards, infrastructure followed, schools, parks, retails, and healthcare came in. Another reason Reem Island evolved the way it did is the location. You're about 5 to 10 minutes from downtown Abu Dhabi and ADGM, which is why many professionals choose to live here. At the same time, families are not isolated. Saadiyat Island, Yas Island, and the airport are all within 15 to 30 minutes. That balance, living close to work but still connected to global destination, is a big reason people settle here long-term. That's why Reem Island today feels very different from many new communities. It's not a concept, it's not a promise, it's already lived in. And that matters, because mature communities behave very differently from speculative ones. People don't just invest here, they build their lives here. One of the biggest turning points for Reem Island was the expansion of Abu Dhabi Global Market, or ADGM, into the island. And this is important to understand clearly. This is not marketing, this is governance. ADGM was established in 2015, and for years, its core operations were centered on Al Maria Island. That's where the financial institutions, courts, and regulators were originally based. ADGM was designed from the start as Abu Dhabi International Financial Center, built to operate at the global level alongside places like London and Singapore. Then in 2025, ADGM expanded its jurisdiction and formally brought Reem Island under its authority. That move transferred thousands of companies, licenses, and real estate assets into the ADGM framework. This wasn't done for real estate, it was done for economic positioning. ADGM is a highly attractive because of the tax framework. No personal income tax, corporate tax aligned with the UAE federal law. This structure made Abu Dhabi competitive for global corporates. Major companies have already set offices here, like BlackRock, Polo, so on and so forth. International banks, asset managers, fintech firms, and multinational corporates. And more are expected to open offices this year, bringing additional professionals and their teams. Behind the scene, Al Darin Mubadala have committed over 60 billion dirhams in development and infrastructure to support ADGM's growth. That's not just buildings. It's schools, housings, transport, lifestyle infrastructure designed for talent and families. This is critical to understand. When companies relocate here, they're not just sending employees with their luggage. They're bringing their families, spouses, children, and long-term living plans. That creates real demand for rental units and future home purchases. And that's exactly why Reem Island benefits structurally, not speculative. Now let's talk about what makes ADGM different. Most of the UAE operates under a civil law system. Rules are written, codified, and interpreted strictly by statute. ADGM, on the other hand, applies English common law directly. That means contracts are interpreted based on precedent. Legal outcomes are more predictable. And the system is immediately familiar to international investors, banks, and multinational companies. For offline buyers, this matters because it adds clarity and confidence, especially around escrow rules, developer obligations, and dispute resolution. It doesn't eliminate the risk. Nothing does, but it reduces uncertainty, and uncertainty is what long-term investors avoid. Now let's talk about numbers, because this is where emotions usually get in the way. In 2018 to 2019 is what I called the baseline. Reem Island was already active. The median sale price at that time was around 12,773 dirhams per square meter. And in just 2 years, we recorded about 10,847 transactions. This period sets the baseline. Healthy prices, healthy volume, and a functioning market. And then came 2020 and 2021, which I called the stress test. The pandemic, coronavirus, global uncertainty, travel shutdowns, and here when Reem Island tells an important story. Despite everything, total transaction volume actually increased to 15,472 sales. And yes, prices softened slightly, with the median dropping to around 12,554 dirhams per square meter. But volume didn't collapse, and I felt this firsthand. The government focused on stability. Residents, tenants, even tourists who were stuck, that support mattered, and the market stayed liquid. From 2022 to 2024, prices continued to adjust. The median moved down further to about 11,206 dirhams per square meter, and transaction volume dropped to 8,212 deals over that period. This wasn't fear, it was hesitation. Buyers were coming out of a crisis. Many choose to rent first instead of buying, which is exactly what you expect after a global shock. Now let's talk about the rental occupancy during this period. What's important here is that the rental occupancy stayed high. Units continued to list quickly, vacancy remained very low. That tells you something critical. People didn't leave Reem Island, they just delayed buying. Then came 2025. This is where the shift becomes very clear. In just 1 year, the median price jumped from 11,206 dirham per square meter to 15,299 dirhams per square meter. And even with these higher prices, we still recorded 5,653 transactions in a single year. That's a big number, especially when you consider Yas, Saadiyat, Jubail, and Raha were all actively developing at the same time. And now we're into 2026. Momentum continues. Just in January alone, we already recorded 799 transactions, with prices reaching around 16,533 dirhams per square meter. That's not a rebound, that's repricing, tied all together. When price rise and rental occupancy stays high, that tells you demand is real. Professionals are living here, families are staying, ADGM employees are renting close to work. So yes, prices today are higher than before, but this growth didn't come from hype. It came after a long-term correction, strong rental demand, and real usage of the island. Now let's talk about something investors often overlook, but families never do. Schools. Reem Island is one of the few areas in Abu Dhabi where you can actually live close to premium international schools, which makes a huge difference for long-term demand. On this island itself, you have Repton School Abu Dhabi. It's a British curriculum, very strong reputation. Nord Angalia International Schools, modern facilities, British system, GEMS World Academy, IB, and international pathways, Sorbonne University Abu Dhabi, higher education options on the island, plus multiple nurseries for early years. And just a short drive away, several highly respected schools are either already open or coming soon, like Harrow International in Saadiyat, Saadiyat Muna British School, Gordon Stone in Abu Dhabi, Canadian International School, King's College Abu Dhabi. What makes this even more convenient is mobility and connectivity. Families living in Reem Island don't have access to schools. They can actually get there quickly and safely. For example, from Shams District to the new Al Reem Financial District and Saadiyat Premium School, it only takes about 8 minutes. Towards Khalifa City, the 𝐂𝐬𝐴 Bridge connects you to E10 Road in just 8 minutes, making commuting easy. And if you ever need to travel to Dubai, it's about an hour to 30 minutes via the main highways. When you combine this connectivity with ADGM bringing professionals, many relocating with their families, easy to see why housing demand on Al Reem Island is structural, not speculative. Ultimately, schools and mobility are not just conveniences. They're critical for families deciding where to live. This directly impacts both rental occupancy and resale stability and helps explain why Al Reem Island continues to attract long-term residents, not just investors. So who's buying off-plan in Al Reem Island in 2026? Three main groups. First is the end user, professional working in ADGM or downtown who wants modern living without Yas or Saadiyat prices. Second, long-term investors. People focus on rental yields and capital preservation, not quick flips. And third, international buyers who understand English common law and want a familiar legal environment. So, are prices higher than they were a few years ago? The answer is yes. But are they really expensive when you compare them to fundamentals, even global benchmarks? I mean, not at all. Al Reem Island still offers a discount for waterfront living compared to prime location in Saadiyat or Yas Island. And it's much closer to downtown and ADGM. But let's put that in a global context. In Singapore, a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment in Marina Bay Residence, 710 square feet on a 99-year leasehold costs you about 1,600,000 Singaporean dollars, which is roughly around 4.6 million dirhams. That's for a financial district apartment, and Al Reem Island, by comparison, is a small emerging island with similar waterfront appeal at far lower prices. Over in London, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath unit at 1 Park Drive, 709 square feet leasehold sells about 980,000 British pound, roughly 4.9 million dirhams. Again, that's the prime financial district location. Now ask yourself this. Reem Island is still relatively young and developing. If it matures over the next 10 years, like these global hubs with full infrastructure, schools, connectivity, and ADGM-driven demand, would you really call today's prices expensive? Or are you actually buying ahead of the growth at the reasonable entry point? Let me know in the comments because I'm very curious of what you said. Now, this is the part most online listings don't show you. Look around. People are walking in Reem Central Park, kids are playing football at Faye Park, and families are enjoying the playgrounds along canals. Cafes are full, joggers are on the promenade, and you even see people kayaking. Yes, kayaking. Yes, there are still some construction, and that's normal for a growing island. But this is not empty land waiting for promises. This is a working, living community with infrastructure, lifestyle amenities, and real people using them every day. From football fields to peaceful canals, from jogging path to waterfront cafes, this is what life on Al Reem Island looks like today. Not just brochure shows you, and that's exactly why maturity matters. When you're buying or renting here, you're not just betting on a concept. You're stepping in a real, functioning community. So, is buying an off-plan in Al Reem Island still worth it in 2026? If you're looking for long-term growth potential, real rental demand driven by professional and families, strong legal framework through ADGM, and English common law, schools, and families appeal with top international option, enhanced connectivity including the Etihad Rail, tram line, and more bus stops across the island, then yes, the fundamentals are still solid, but this is no longer a blind buy. Strategy matters more than ever. Choose your developer wisely, pick the right location, and make sure pricing aligns with long-term fundamentals. If you want to know which developers and projects are worth considering and what I feel that is a good developer, feel free to message me or call me. If you do that, you're not just buying an apartment, you're investing in a mature, growing community with a real lifestyle, real demand, and real future potential. I'm Duke, your real estate agent in Abu Dhabi. If you're considering off-plan in the Reem Island and want a fact-based opinion, not a sales pitch, drop me a comment and send me a message. Like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it valuable. And tell me, would you buy an off-plan here in 2026? Yes or no? I want to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and remember, real numbers, real homes, real Abu Dhabi.